The sun rose above the rugged terrain, casting a golden hue upon the vast expanse of wilderness that stretched as far as the eye could see. A group of friends, bound by adventure and camaraderie, embarked on a hiking trip, an escapade into the heart of nature's embrace. Among them were Rachel, Alex, Emily, and Mark, a quartet united by their shared love for the outdoors. The trail snaked through dense woods, each step a testament to their exhilaration and the thrill of exploration. However, what started as an adventure into the untamed wilderness soon turned into a haunting ordeal. As the day waned and the sun dipped below the horizon, an unsettling sensation crept upon the group, a worrying presence that lingered at the edges of their consciousness. Unease settled like a shroud over the campsite, as inexplicable incidents disrupted the tranquility of the night. Subtle rustles in the underbrush, fleeting shadows in the moonlight, whispers of an unseen stalker silently tracking their every move. Paranoia simmered among the friends, festering into a brew of fear and suspicion. What was that? Rachel's voice trembled, a note of uncertainty lacing her words as she scanned the darkened woodland. Probably just a small animal, Alex reassured her. But the unease lingered, a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air. With every passing hour, the sense of being watched intensified. Mysterious scratches marred the tent flaps, and faint echoes of footsteps resonated through the night, a haunting symphony that amplified the group's apprehension. As dawn broke, the friends convened, their faces etched with concern. They resolved to explore the surrounding area, seeking to dispel the looming specter of paranoia that had eclipsed their once joyous adventure. However, the wilderness offered no solace, only a silence that seemed to mock their futile attempts to unravel the mystery. In their search, they stumbled upon cryptic markings etched upon tree trunks, an omen that hinted at a menacing presence lurking within the woods. Emily's voice quivered as she pointed to the symbols etched upon the bark. "What does this mean? Is someone following us?" Mark's attempts to allay their fears fell upon deaf ears, for the unspoken dread had woven its tendrils into the fabric of their minds. The stalker's intentions remained shrouded in uncertainty, the wilderness echoing with silent threats that haunted their every step. As dusk descended upon the landscape, a realization dawned upon the group. Their stalker was not a mere observer, but a creepy force, their intentions as enigmatic as the symbols that adorned the trees. In a desperate bid to evade the unseen pursuer, the friends pressed on, their pace quickening as the ominous silence of the woods grew deafening. Yet the stalker's presence loomed closer, an intangible cruelness that cast a pall over their flight. A piercing scream shattered the tranquility of the woods. Rachel's voice echoed through the foliage, a harrowing cry that bore the weight of impending terror. The group rushed to her aid, their hearts pounding with dread as they found her trembling, a terrified gaze fixed upon the surrounding wilderness. "There was someone there," Rachel gasped, her words choked with fear. A figure, lurking in the shadows. Panic seized the group, their resolve splintering in the face of the encounter. The stalker's unseen menace had materialized, its intentions veiled in the sinister echoes of the wilderness. As they attempted to flee, a haunting realization settled upon them. Trapped within the labyrinth of the woods, they were at the mercy of an adversary whose intentions remained shrouded in the enigma of the wilderness. The harrowing ordeal culminated in an unspoken understanding. Their stalker's identity would forever remain an unsolved mystery, and the echoes of that haunting night in the wilderness would linger as a testament to the unfathomable horrors that nature could conceal. With hearts racing and fear clawing at their souls, they bolted through the dense undergrowth, their frenzied escape echoing through the woods, a final attempt to outrun the ominous presence that stalked their every move. Yet as the darkness enveloped them, the chilling reality lingered, an unresolved terror that lurked within the wilderness, a haunting reminder that the untamed wild could harbor the darkest of secrets. The group, gripped by terror, navigated the dense thicket, their strides frantic as they attempted to outpace the unseen menace. With each passing moment, the veil of darkness deepened, obscuring their path and amplifying their sense of desperation. Emily's breaths came in ragged gasps as she stumbled over roots and fallen branches, her heart pounding in synchrony with the frenetic rhythm of the forest. She glanced over her shoulder, her eyes wide with fear, half expecting to glimpse the silhouette that haunted their every step. "We can't keep running blindly," Mark's voice, tinged with urgency, cut through the cacophony of their panicked flight. "We need to find shelter, regroup, and figure this out." His words resonated with the semblance of reason, a flicker of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. They veered off the trail, seeking refuge amid the snarl of trees, their hearts burdened by the lingering presence of their unknown pursuer. As they huddled together, the forest seemed to draw them into its embrace, the night alive with whispers that stirred the foliage and rustled the leaves in a haunting symphony. Every snap of a twig and every distant howl of the wind carried with it the ominous echo of their pursuer's unseen presence. Shrouded in the suffocating embrace of uncertainty, the friends attempted to piece together the fragmented events that had culminated in their harrowing flight. But their attempts at coherence were thwarted by the palpable dread that pervaded their sanctuary, the fear palpable in their shared silence. Hours stretched into an unsettling vigil, each passing minute weighed down by the oppressive atmosphere of the forest. Anxiety gnawed at their resolve, fraying the fragile threads of hope that bound them together. Amidst the suffocating tension, a faint rustling interrupted the silence, a subtle yet unmistakable indication that their unseen pursuer lingered in the shadows, observing their desperate plight. "Who's there?" Alex's voice quivered, a trembling plea for answers in the face of an implacable adversary. The forest offered no response, the silence a testament to the enigmatic terror that lurked within its depths. Paralyzed by fear, the friends huddled closer, their unity their sole defense against the unknown menace that encircled them. As the night wore on, a distant glimmer of dawn cast a faint light upon the horizon, the promise of a new day tainted by the lingering dread that had consumed their once carefree excursion. A sudden realization dawned upon them, a somber acknowledgement that their stalker's identity would remain forever veiled within the shroud of the wilderness. With a heavy heart burdened by unresolved terror, they mustered the remnants of their courage to resume their journey out of the treacherous woods. The trek back to civilization was fraught with trepidation, every rustle in the underbrush and every gust of wind a haunting reminder of the peril they had narrowly escaped. Finally emerging from the suffocating embrace of the forest, the friends stood at the threshold of safety, their faces etched with relief tinged by the haunting memories of the night that had forever altered their perception of the untamed wild. Their experience remained an unspoken testament, an unsettling reminder that within the pristine tranquility of nature's embrace, there existed an unfathomable terror that could ensnare the unwary, leaving behind an indelible mark of fear and uncertainty. Story 2. The towering skyscraper of Tenebris Enterprises loomed over the bustling city, its sleek glass exterior reflecting the chaotic hum of corporate ambition that permeated within. Among the sea of ambitious professionals navigating the jungle of cubicles, Claire Hastings stood as a rising star, a dedicated and focused asset to the company's marketing division. Claire's routine at Tenebris had been methodical until the arrival of peculiar notes that disrupted her semblance of normalcy. It started innocuously, with the first note slipping beneath her office door, a cryptic message that hinted at personal details, secrets only privy to her thoughts. The message bore an unsettling familiarity, a revelation that pierced the facade of professional decorum. As the days passed, the notes increased in frequency, each revealing intimate aspects of Claire's life, details that no one within the company should possess. Fear gripped her heart, transforming the once familiar office environment into a claustrophobic maze of paranoia. Every passerby seemed a potential threat, every corner harboring an unseen observer. The whispers of her colleagues became ominous murmurs, their glances laden with suspicion and curiosity. Desperate for answers, Claire navigated the harrowing corridors of her past, searching for a connection to the unsettling messages that had infiltrated her professional sanctuary. Yet her past remained shrouded in secrecy, offering no solace or explanation for the invasive scrutiny she faced. As the stalker's relentless pursuit escalated, Claire's work suffered, her once sharp focus clouded by the suffocating grip of fear. The notes became increasingly sinister, the stalker's intentions veiled in menacing implications. One fateful evening, as the office lay bathed in a silence, Claire lingered behind to confront the unseen adversary haunting her professional existence. The flickering fluorescent lights cast elongated shadows that danced along the corridors, mirroring the unsettling uncertainty that loomed over her. In a daring attempt to unveil the identity of her tormentor, Claire ventured into the deserted office, each step a testament to her resolve to unravel the mystery. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of her racing heartbeat echoing through the vacant halls. A figure emerged from the shadows, a phantom draped in darkness, their features obscured by the veil of obscurity. Claire's pulse quickened, a visceral combination of terror and determination urging her forward. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice wavering but resolute, seeking the answers that had eluded her. The figure remained silent, a spectral presence that seemed to blend seamlessly with the surrounding darkness. A flicker of recognition surged within Claire, a haunting familiarity that sent a cold drop of sweat down her neck. Before she could comprehend the implications, the figure dissipated into the maze depths of the office, leaving Claire enveloped in a silence that reverberated with the sinister revelation. The encounter had offered no closure, only a haunting realization, a truth that clawed at the recesses of her mind. The stalker's ominous warning lingered, a reminder that the shadows within the workplace held secrets far more insidious than she had ever dared to imagine. As the night descended upon the office, Claire stood alone, her thoughts engulfed in a tempest of unanswered questions. The confrontation had left her ensnared in an unsettling uncertainty, a claustrophobic maze of fear where the stalker's identity remained an elusive enigma, an unresolved terror that haunted the very corridors she navigated each day. The office, once a bastion of professional aspiration, now harbored shadows that whispered dark secrets, secrets that threatened to consume Claire in an inescapable network of fear and uncertainty. Haunted by the encounter, Claire found herself in a relentless pursuit for answers. Days turned into nights, and nights blurred into restless slumber, haunted by recurring visions of the enigmatic figure shrouded in darkness. The workplace, once a thriving hub of productivity, had transformed into an ominous maze of paranoia. Every glance felt like an accusation, every whispered conversation a potential harbinger of impending doom. Claire's professional persona had become a mere facade, veiling the harrowing turmoil that raged within her. Determined to unmask the identity of her tormentor, Claire embarked on a relentless investigation, meticulously scrutinizing her professional and personal circles for any semblance of connection to the mysterious stalker. But the elusive figure remained an enigma, a specter that lingered at the periphery of her consciousness. Amid the tormenting uncertainty, Claire sought refuge in the solace of a trusted confidant, her longtime colleague and friend, Alex. She confided in him, divulging the haunting saga that had plunged her life into disarray. Alex listened intently, a furrow creasing his brow as Claire recounted the events that had unfolded within the confines of their workplace. "Claire, this is disturbing," Alex murmured, concern etched on his features. "Let me help you. We'll figure this out together." The prospect of an ally in her battle against the unknown invigorated Claire with a renewed sense of hope. Together they combed through the intricacies of Claire's life, piecing together fragments of past encounters and acquaintances, in a fervent attempt to unmask the stalker's identity. The days quickly turned into weeks, and the relentless pursuit for answers cast a suffocating veil over Claire's existence. Yet, amidst the twist of uncertainties, a breakthrough emerged, an unexpected connection that illuminated the dim recesses of her memory. A memory, long relegated to the depths of forgotten encounters, surfaced. An encounter with a former colleague, whose presence had once been an inconsequential blip in Claire's professional trajectory. As realization dawned, Claire's heart raced with a tumultuous blend of dread and resolution. She discovered unsettling truths buried within the forgotten contours of her past, a past entwined with fractured relationships and veiled intentions. Summoning the vestiges of courage that had been obscured by fear, Claire confronted the former colleague, the figure who had once been a fleeting shadow within her professional sphere. "You." Claire's voice trembled with a mixture of accusation and apprehension as she confronted the figure who stood before her, their presence once innocuous but now shrouded in malice. The former colleague's features contorted into a chilling smirk, a haunting echo of Claire's suspicions. "You never saw it coming, did you?" they taunted, their voice dripping with vindictive satisfaction. Claire's pulse quickened, a jarring realization settling like an icy weight in the pit of her stomach. The stalker's identity, once concealed within the familiar contours of her workplace, had finally emerged from the shadows. Before she could muster a response, the figure disappeared into the depths of the office, leaving Claire ensnared in an unsettling epiphany. An epiphany that the true horror was not in the identity of the stalker, but in the disquieting revelation that the corridors she once navigated with confidence had harbored treachery and deception. The confrontation had unraveled the mystery, yet it left Claire burdened with the realization that the workplace menace she had faced was not merely an external threat. It was a sinister manifestation of betrayal lurking within the very fabric of her professional domain. As the office lay enveloped in the silence of the night, Claire stood alone, the haunting truth gnawing at her spirit. The stalker's identity had been unmasked, yet the true horror lay in the shadows cast by the echoes of deceit. A haunting reminder that the darkest threats often lurk within the corridors we least expect. Story 3. The sprawling campus of Arden University buzzed with the excitement of academia, its vibrant atmosphere a sanctuary for aspiring minds seeking knowledge and enlightenment. Among the throng of students, Sarah Adams navigated the corridors of higher learning, her academic pursuits overshadowed by an insidious presence that lurked within the campus's confines. It started with inconspicuous notes, cryptic messages that materialized in Sarah's dorm room, warning her of an unseen observer who had infiltrated her academic haven. Initially dismissive, Sarah attributed the notes to a misguided prank, a fleeting disturbance in the otherwise serene ambiance of campus life. However, the notes grew increasingly malevolent, each message bearing a menacing undertone that unsettled Sarah's peace of mind. Intrusive evidence of stalking emerged, subtle but invasive clues that hinted at a relentless pursuer weaving through the very fabric of her academic and personal existence. Sinister shadows seemed to dance at the periphery of Sarah's vision, a dark reminder of the pervasive threat that encroached upon her sanctuary of learning. Paranoia gnawed at her consciousness, a haunting uncertainty that reverberated through every corridor and lecture hall. As the stalker's relentless pursuit intensified, Sarah's academic aspirations faltered, her once ardent passion for learning overshadowed by the suffocating fear that ensnared her. The campus, once a bastion of intellectual growth, transformed into a web of shadows where every face became a potential adversary. Desperate for answers, Sarah sought solace in the confines of her friendships. Yet the insidious presence remained elusive, a ghostly entity manipulating the very fabric of her existence within the university's hallowed halls. With unease etched upon her features, Sarah confided in her closest confidant, Emily, divulging the saga that had shattered her collegiate tranquility. Emily, alarmed by the gravity of Sarah's plight, resolved to uncover the identity of the relentless stalker. Together they embarked on a perilous quest for truth, scouring the campus for clues that would unmask the hateful specter haunting Sarah's academic sanctuary. Yet, the stalker's cunning evaded their pursuit, leaving behind a trail of cryptic messages that taunted their futile efforts. One ominous evening, as dusk cloaked the campus in an eerie twilight, Sarah found herself ensnared in a confrontation, an encounter that would forever alter her perception of the seemingly idyllic academic domain. The stalker materialized, a spectral figure shrouded in darkness, their features obscured by the veil of anonymity. Sarah's heart raced with a palpable dread as the stalker's voice reverberated through the deserted courtyard. "You thought you could escape me." The voice, laced with malice, echoed through the corridors of Sarah's terror-stricken mind. Before Sarah could comprehend the gravity of the situation, the figure vanished into the night, leaving behind an unsettling void, an unresolved terror that lingered within the very walls of her collegiate refuge. As the night descended upon the campus, Sarah stood alone, the encounter a haunting reminder of the shadows that lurked within the seemingly tranquil abode of learning. The confrontation had unraveled the mystery, yet it had left Sarah ensnared in an unsettling epiphany, the realization that the sanctuary of knowledge she had cherished was not immune to the insidious threats that festered within its corridors. The campus, once a beacon of scholarly pursuits, now harbored an enigma, a lurking menace that cast a pall over the very essence of Sarah's academic journey. In the hushed silence of the night, Sarah stood at the threshold of a disquieting revelation, A revelation that within the halls of higher education lay secrets far more sinister than any lesson the textbooks could impart. Story 4. Amelia Carter had always been attuned to the subtle shifts in her surroundings. It started with a fleeting glance from a stranger on her morning commute, a whisper of familiarity in the bustling cityscape. Insignificant, she had thought at first, until a series of incidents began to unravel the fragile tapestry of her life. One crisp autumn morning, as Amelia emerged from her apartment building, she caught a glimpse of a figure lingering in the shadows, a silhouette veiled by the early morning mist. The person vanished into the bustling crowd before she could discern more than a haunting impression, leaving her unsettled and on edge. Days passed and Amelia's unease grew. She noticed a series of subtle but scary signs, a flickering street lamp that seemed to follow her on her evening walks, a cryptic note tucked beneath her door, and inexplicable phone calls that dissolved into static when answered. The messages were cryptic, fragments of sentences that hinted at a familiarity with her past, details only someone intimately acquainted with her life could possess. Paranoia gnawed at the edges of her mind, and she found herself scrutinizing every passerby, every shadow that danced along the pavement. As the incidents escalated, so did Amelia's desperation to unearth the elusive stalker. She combed through the corridors of her memory, searching for a connection to the cryptic messages, but the past offered no solace, only a labyrinth of uncertainties. The turning point came when she stumbled upon an old journal, its pages yellowed with time. Buried within its faded ink lay the remnants of a long-forgotten friendship, a friendship that had soured into betrayal and resentment. With a jolt of realization, Amelia made a connection. The stalker's cryptic messages held echoes of a past she had tried to bury, a past entangled in broken promises and shattered trust. Fueled by a mix of fear and determination, Amelia delved deeper, seeking answers to the haunting puzzle that had invaded her life. Each step she took seemed to bring her closer to the truth, a truth veiled in shadows and obscured by a relentless pursuer. One fateful evening, as the city lay shrouded in darkness, Amelia found herself at the rendezvous point, a desolate alleyway that bore witness to the climax of her unsettling pursuit. The stalker stood before her, their face obscured by the cloak of night. A silence hung in the air as Amelia confronted the mysterious figure, a culmination of weeks of torment and uncertainty. The stalker's whispered words carried a familiarity, the echo of a voice from the past that sent shivers down her spine. "You thought you could escape me," the stalker hissed, their voice laced with a haunting familiarity. "But the past always finds a way back." Amelia's heart raced, her breath shallow as she grappled with the horrifying revelation, a revelation that unraveled the sinister connection to her own history. Before she could respond, the stalker vanished into the obscurity of the night, leaving Amelia haunted by the realization that the past she had long tried to forget had returned with a vengeance. As the night drew to a close, Amelia stood alone in the alleyway, her mind reeling with the unsettling encounter. The stalker's warning lingered, a reminder that the echoes of the past could never truly be silenced. And though the confrontation had ended, the true horror lay in the realization that the haunting pursuit might never cease, leaving Amelia ensnared in an inescapable web spun from the tangled threads of her own history. Haunted by the unsettling encounter, Amelia found herself entangled in a maze of conflicting emotions, fear, confusion, and a haunting sense of déjà vu that clawed at her thoughts. The stalker's words reverberated in her mind, a ceaseless echo that refused to fade. Days became restless nights as Amelia grappled with the stalker's cryptic warning. She sought solace in the semblance of normalcy, but each mundane task was tainted by the ominous shadow of her past. In a desperate bid to break free from the relentless pursuit, Amelia sought refuge in the familiar confines of her childhood home. A quaint cottage nestled amid the tranquil countryside, a sanctuary she hoped would shield her from the haunting specter that had invaded her life. However, the solitude only amplified her paranoia. In the quietude of the countryside, every rustle of the leaves, every creak of the floorboards, carried a sinister implication. The stalker's unsettling messages lingered, their cryptic resonance echoing within the walls of the cottage. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in hues of amber and indigo, Amelia ventured into the surrounding woods, seeking solace in the tranquility of nature. The whispers of the leaves seemed to offer a fleeting respite from the suffocating grip of fear that plagued her. Yet, as dusk descended, an ominous sensation pricked at the edges of her consciousness. A shadow flitted between the trees, a specter veiled in darkness, an unwelcome visitor in the sanctuary she had sought. Panic surged within her, the sensation of being watched intensifying with every step she took. In a frenzied attempt to escape the encroaching terror, Amelia raced through the entangled paths, the haunting whispers of her past entwined with the echoes of the present. A sudden realization struck, an epiphany born from the convergence of fear and determination. With a resolve fueled by desperation, Amelia turned to confront the elusive figure that had dogged her steps. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice quivering but resolute, seeking answers that had eluded her for too long. A fleeting figure emerged from the shadows, a silhouette familiar yet shrouded in mystery. As it drew closer, Amelia's breath hitched, a collision of dread and recognition coursing through her veins. The figure stepped into the dim light, revealing a face she had long tried to forget, a face from her past, an acquaintance who had once been a trusted confidant but whose intentions had curdled into darkness. "You thought you could escape your past," the figure uttered, their voice laced with a haunting familiarity. "But the truth always catches up." Amelia's heart pounded against her chest, the past and present colliding in an unsettling crescendo. Memories of betrayal and unresolved grievances surfaced, intertwining with the realization that the stalker was none other than a past acquaintance, a person she had once trusted implicitly. A whirlwind of emotions swirled within her, a blend of rage, fear, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal. Before she could respond, the figure dissolved into the obscurity of the surrounding woods, leaving Amelia enveloped in a vortex of unresolved emotions and haunting revelations. As the night enveloped the tranquil countryside, Amelia stood amidst the silence, a tumultuous storm raging within her. The encounter had answered some questions but left a trail of unanswered queries. An unresolved chapter from her past had resurfaced, leaving her ensnared in a haunting web spun from the tangled threads of betrayal and fear. With a heavy heart burdened by the echoes of her past, Amelia knew that the confrontation had only scratched the surface of a mystery far more intricate and unsettling than she could have imagined. The stalker's ominous warning reverberated within her, a grim reminder that the pursuit was far from over, and the tendrils of her past would continue to ensnare her in an inescapable cycle of fear and uncertainty.